Hello. Hi. Let's get ready for a easy beginners yoga class today. Let's get started. Okay. You're going to need a mat. You're going to need a block if you have one handy. And that's it. We're going to start on the floor. We're going to start face up. When you lie down, you're going to start with your knees bent, turn your knees up, and lie down all the way on the floor. Now from here, you're going to stretch your legs out, and we're going to practice being upright, but from a lying down position. You're going to stretch your legs out, press through your heels away from your head. Then you're going to inhale your arms up, and you're going to stretch your arms up overhead, all the way up. You're going to feel that stretch through your armpits. You're going to feel that stretch through your side ribs. Press the heels away. Relax the shoulders back down towards the floor. And away from your ears, make room for your neck. If you want to move your head around, just to make sure your neck and your shoulders are relaxed. Then you're going to inhale the arms back up to center. Go ahead and inhale the arms up all the way back up. Let's do that again, coordinating the movement with the breath. Relax the shoulders back towards the floor. Now, take your biceps and move them up and over your head. Inhaling up. Take a deep breath in, press the heels away, stretch the arms away. And now you're going to take a deep breath in again, and you're going to bring the arms all the way back down next to your sides. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling up. Exhale, press the feet away, stretch the arms away. Inhale again. Exhale, bring the arms all the way back down next to your sides. Relax the shoulders back and down towards the floor. Repeat 1 last time. You're going to move with your breath, inhaling up, moving the biceps all the way up and over your head. Keep the thumbs on the floor. Palms are facing each other. And now stretch your arms away. Stretch the heels away. Take a deep breath in. Relax your chin away from your chest. Make sure you're not squeezing your throat. And now you're going to bring your arms back to center. Inhaling and exhaling all the way back down. Very nice. Let's stretch into the hips. Take your right leg into your chest. Stretch from your left leg all the way away from your foot, away from your head. Take the knee into your chest. You can relax the top foot. You don't have to be tense on the foot or the ankle, but your leg on the floor is completely stretched out. Press through the heel. Let's do 3 breaths in and out in this position. You're going to exhale and inhale. Now, each time you exhale, you pull your thigh closer and closer into your chest. If this bothers your hip or your low back, you can bend the other leg, have the foot on the floor, have the knee pointing up towards the ceiling. But no matter what, you keep breathing and you keep relaxing your body onto the floor. Find places that you can relax more. Relax your jaw, relax your shoulders, your neck, relax your face, the space around your eyes. Now we're going to switch legs. Now take the right leg down, stretch. Now take the left knee into the chest, hold on to the knee at the shin. You can also hold at the thigh behind the knee. And you press the extended leg on the floor away from you. Stretch through the heel. These yoga classes are meant This yoga class is meant to be for a beginning student. So remember to have your toes pointing up towards the ceiling, your legs, your right toes, the toes that are on the floor. And each time you exhale, you relax your leg away from you. You pull your knee a little bit closer in towards your chest. Now take a deep breath in and out. And you're going to exhale and you're going to release the left leg down and you're going to extend the leg. Both legs are stretched out. Press your thigh bones back into the floor. Stretch your arms up overhead again and stretch your arms up overhead, your feet, your heels away from your head, and feel the stretch into the triceps, into the arm, into the armpit. Now, if this is too much, you can always bend your elbows and take the arms out to the side and have the arms out like in a Y, like a YMCA. Everyone knows YMCA. But if that's okay, and you can bring the arms up overhead, then do so. But be mindful of your shoulders. We're going to bring the arms back up to center, inhaling the arms up, inhale, exhaling, taking them down next to your sides. You're going to interlace your fingers, turn the palms out away from you. Your arms are straight, and you're going to extend the arms up overhead. One more time. Stretch the heels away. Stretch the arms up overhead. Press the palms away from you. Open the palms. Now inhale and exhale. Release the hands all the way back down next to your sides. Take the palms together. Change the interlace of the fingers. Turn the palms out. Your arms are straight and you're going to inhale all the way up overhead again. If you can, bring the hands to the floor. If this is too much for your shoulders, you can keep the arms slightly overhead, or you can bring the arms into that wide YMCA arms. Now let's bring the arms back up to center, inhaling up and exhaling all the way down. You're going to bend through your knee. Pick a knee that maybe rolls you towards the screen. Then you're going to sit up to seated. Go ahead and come up to seated. The next part, and I'd like for you to be watching, okay? You're going to be in an easy cross-legged position. You're going to take your hands behind you, and you're going to walk your hands down into your elbows. You're going to lower your torso down. Bring your shoulders underneath you, shoulder blades. And then let the knees fall out to the sides. If this is too much, come out and go back to that extended leg pose. Hopefully this feels really good into your inner thighs, into your hips. If there's some slight discomfort, see if you can take a couple breaths. See if the nerves, the skin, the tissues relax. Again, a couple more breaths. Now, you're going to take your hands next to your hips. Let's actually push up onto the elbows. So use your elbows to press yourself up to seated. Get your hands underneath you. Lift your chest. Leading with your heart, you're going to come up all the way up to seated. Sit up nice and tall. Take your hands next to your hips to help your body be upright. Then extend one leg and extend the other leg. Now cross the legs and then the opposite in the next position. So the other leg comes in first. I think it's this way, this way. You have to remember which leg you put in first. Okay, now from here, you're going to go back down into your elbows. Maybe switch to the other elbow. Keep your chest lifting as you lower your body down. Taking deep breaths in and out. It's 5:30 p.m. on a Thursday. It's been a long day, busy days for most of us. From here, you're going to stretch your arms up. This time, turn the palms up towards the ceiling and stretch the hands away. Stretch the nails, feel the nails on the floor, on the carpet, whatever you have. Feel them stretching away from the ribs. The hands, the wrist, the forearms, stretching away from the ribs. Couple more breaths. Now you're going to inhale your arms up, exhale back down next to your sides. Very nice. Now we've done both sides on the legs. Let's go ahead and bend the knees. Roll onto the side with the knees bent and press up to seated. Now from here, if you have a block, great. If you don't have a block, don't worry about it. You can possibly gather for your next class a stool, a little chair. We'll figure it out. You can also use your hand on your shin. We're going to come up to standing and we're going to practice triangle pose. Okay. Now, just moving my camera a little bit. Hopefully you have your yoga mat facing the camera. I would turn the mat in a way that it's long ways facing the camera. So you can either see me. If it's a Zoom class, you would be able to see yourself. We're going to start from that mountain pose. Let's stand. Now we're standing. We started the class from this lying down position. Imagine like I'm on the floor. And I had you lying down. And I had you pressing your feet away. And then we stretch the arms up. Well, now we're doing that standing. You're going to stand. You can have your feet slightly apart. No, not wider than your hips. That's too wide. So hip width apart or narrower. You can also have your feet together if that's comfortable. And you're going to bring your outer hips in towards each other. Stretch your heels away. And then lift the arms up overhead. Right? That looks familiar. Now let's go ahead and step into triangle pose. Take your hands to your hips. Bend your knees. Step your feet out wide. And we're going to turn towards the right side of the mat. You're going to turn your left toes in and your right toes to point all the way out 90 degrees. Your right toes, your right knee, they point all the way out to the side. Take a moment to stabilize your body here. Your hips and your torso are pointing straight ahead like two headlights. Now let's take the arm down for the pose. Inhale your arms up shoulder height. Exhale, take your right hand to your shin or to your knee, but slide the hand down as low as you can get it. Stay here and take your up hand, probably your left hand, if you're following the cues, down to your hip. Now straighten both of your legs. And now take your top shoulder back to square your chest like two headlights pointing straight ahead. If you have experience in this pose, you can go ahead and finish the pose. Complete the pose by straightening your top arm as well. Otherwise, if you're learning the pose, keep your hand on your hip. Now we're going to come up to standing. You're going to inhale your torso all the way up to upright. Your legs are still in the same position. The feet have not shifted. And now on the exhalation, turn your right toes in. Your toes are pointing straight ahead. Your hips are straight ahead. Your shoulders like headlights. Let's go to the left side. Now turn your right toes slightly in. Turn your left toes, your left knee, all the way from the thigh. And square your hips, square your shoulders into that headlight facing forward position. For triangle pose, take the left hand to the shin, ankle, knee. And square your hips, square your shoulders. You can keep the right hand down next to the hip if the shoulder is learning how to be upright. If that's too much on the shoulder. If you want more cues, I'll be happy to teach you in person or Zoom. If you want more tailored cues, excuse me. Now from here, you're going to inhale back up to standing. Turn your left toes in. Let's take the hands to the hips. Keep your chest lifted as you step the feet together. And you go back into that standing pose, that basic standing pose, Tadasana. Basic does not mean easy though, right? Breathe, inhaling and exhaling. Feel your feet. Feel the bottoms of your feet spreading wide open. Spread the bottoms of the feet. And catch your breath. Let's move on to our next standing pose, which is bent knee triangle. If you don't have experience with the pose, watch, I'll show it very quickly. You step into the pose the same way that you did for triangle. And for bent knee triangle, we're going to bend the front knee. For beginners, I suggest you take the forearm to the thigh. For more advanced practitioners, you can take the hand to the floor, either on the inside of the foot or the outside of the foot. And you have to square your chest like headlights. One knee is bent, one leg is straight, squaring the chest. Advanced practitioners, you can bring the arm up overhead. Beginning students, let's keep the hand on the hip. To come out, you straighten the front leg, you turn your toes forward, and you move on to the other side. Let's do together. Stand together, feet together. Let's do together. All right, let's go ahead and jump. No, we're not jumping. This is a beginner's class. Okay, hands to the hips. Step the feet out wide. Let's go to the right side. You can keep your hands on your hips, or to challenge yourself, bring your hands shoulder height. Now, when you turn the thigh over to the right side, the right thigh, turning it from the root of the thigh. It's not just the foot maybe. Turn the entire leg. Straighten your arms, straighten your legs. Let's go into the pose. You're going to bend your right knee. You're going to square your chest as you take the hands either to the floor, inside of the foot, outside of the foot. You can have the forearm on the thigh, and you can stretch the top arm overhead. Be mindful of your shoulders. If this is too much for your shoulder, your top shoulder, take the hand to the waist and work on getting the bottom arm straight towards the floor. Deep breaths. We'll be here for 2 more breaths. Stretch the back leg. The back leg is very straight. The bent knee, the thighs parallel to the floor. Now to come up to standing, you have to extend the front leg. Come up all the way to standing. Turn your toes forward. Okay, Good job. Let's go over to the left side. Turn your right toes in and turn the left thigh, the left knee, the left shin, the left toes to point all the way out to the side. Start with the arms shoulder height. Exhale, bend through the left knee. Take your hand to the floor or your forearm to the thigh. Stretch your other arm up next to your ear overhead and stretch from the tips of the fingers all the way to the heel of the same side of your right side. Keep breathing. Keep turning the chest up towards the ceiling in whatever stage of the pose you are in. You can be in that final pose. You can be in a beginner stage. Now you're going to come up to standing. You're going to straighten that front leg. Feel yourself pushing the floor away with your bent leg to straighten it. Turn your toes forward. Step your feet together. Now let's try to bring the feet together all the way, unless it hurts the knees, unless there's other reasons that your yoga instructor has told you specifically, in which case you open the feet hip width apart. Deep breaths. That was good. Now from here, we're going to practice going from triangle to bending triangle. We're going to link those two poses together. Take your hands into your hips, step your feet out wide with awareness of the toes pointing straight ahead. Straighten your legs. Pause at this stage of the poses. Legs are straight, toes pointing straight forward. Lift your chest up and breathe and enjoy this. Enjoy the cramps on your hips like I'm getting right now from running and doing lots of hip work. Okay, now let's go over to the right side. Turn your left toe slightly in. You turn the left toes in so much that you can press through the outer heel. That's the intention of that. Straighten that leg. Now from the root of the thigh, turn the right thigh all the way to point 90 degrees out to the side. Everyone, let's take the arms up, shoulder height. Straighten your legs. On the exhalation, stretch the thigh. Stretch the right ribs over the right thigh. And either keep the arm up for advanced practitioners, advanced beginners, or beginners. Keep your hand on your hip, your left hand, and everyone take your top shoulder way back, way back, and take your head way back as well. Be in the beginning stage of the pose or in the final pose. Take the left arm way up. Now to come up to standing, press the feet away and inhale upwards. To challenge yourself, you can keep your arms up shoulder height. If you need to take a little rest, bring your hands down to your hips. And let's all turn over to the left side. You turn your right heel slightly out in order for you to press strongly into that posterior right heel. Both legs are straight. On the exhalation, stretch your left side all the way over the left thigh. Take the left hand down to the shin, ankle, knee, below the knee. And everyone, turn your torso forward like a headlight. Your bottom arm is straight. Your top arm, for advanced beginners, finish the pose. Otherwise, beginners, take your right hand to your right hip, and everyone take the top shoulder back in order to rotate the chest up towards the ceiling. Head back, legs straight. 2 more breaths. Inhaling back up. Perfect. Now let's go over to the other side without stopping. Rest your arms if you need to. On the exhalation, you're going to bend your right knee. Make sure your knee and your ankle line up. Take your hand to the floor and spin the arm in its socket for advanced beginners and finish the pose. Otherwise, beginners, keep the hand on the hip and the forearm on the thigh. Feel the stretch into the right groin. The back leg is straight. Finish the pose. And now inhale back up to standing. Turn the toes forward and let's go over to the other side. Straighten the legs. On the exhalation, bend through the left knee. Keep your back leg very straight. Stretch over the left knee. Bring your hand to the floor. Bring your hand to the forearm to the thigh. And you have to stretch that right thigh back. Turn the torso. Finish the pose. Finish your pose at your level. Spin the arm in its socket and stretch the arm over your ear for advanced beginners. Keep breathing. 2 more breaths. You're going to come up to standing. Good job. Take up your hands to your hips, everyone. Turn your toes forward. Now let's all step the feet together and come back to that mountain pose. Remember what it felt like when you were lying down on the floor. That feeling of being upright. Most of the time, you're either too much on your heels, too much on the toes. Find the balance between the front of the foot, the back of the foot. Press your heels down into the floor behind you. We spend so much time with the knees bent in a seated position. The knees flexed must extend. Breathe. Our next pose, it's a wide-legged forward extension. You're going to start by opening your feet up wide. Now, it's not the splits, so watch quickly. Open the feet up wide, lift the chest, squeeze the elbows way close to each other behind your back, then take the chest down to the floor. If you can, take the hands to the floor. Otherwise, keep your hands on your hips and lift that chest forward and up. Then just come up to standing again. Now, let's go ahead and do together. Step your feet out wide. Toes are pointing straight ahead. Put pressure on the outer edges of your feet. Let the inner heels press down as well. Lift the arches up. On the exhalation, squeeze the elbows behind you. Lift up and inhale. Then exhale. Take the chest down, parallel to the floor. Then take your hands down to the floor. Stay in the pose. Don't let your back round up towards the ceiling. That's not the pose. If that's the case, then take your hands to your hips and take your spine in. Now, if that's too much, if you've had enough, you can come out of the pose and come up to standing. Bring your feet in closer to each other and come up to standing. Otherwise, we're going to stay here just a little tiny bit longer. And we're going to work Prasarita Padottanasana together. Stage 1, shoulders are in alignment with the hands. And I press my outer edges of my feet down as I lift my arches up. Be mindful of not collapsing the arches in this pose. I stretch my toes forward. I stretch my chest and my toes forward. All right, let's come out of the pose. We're going to heel toe the feet together until they're slightly more underneath our hips. Then you're going to straighten your legs and you're going to come up to standing by lifting your chest forward and up, lifting up with your chest. Step your feet together and stand in mountain pose again. Deep breaths. Stretch the legs, straighten the legs. Very, very good. Good job. Now from here, let's go ahead and come down to the floor. And we're going to start with a very gentle child's pose to stretch the low back. For child's pose, if you can, you have your toes together and your knees apart. You take your hands underneath in front of you on the floor. You stretch the arms forward as you press the heels back and down towards your heels. The buttocks never come off the heels. We're not doing a stink bug pose. That's not the pose. So let's begin. The heels and the buttocks make contact. If this is plenty, if this is bothering the knees, sit to the side and bring the knees into the chest. So you're in upside down child's pose. If you can manage to have the shins on the floor, knees slightly apart, heels and buttocks remain in contact, take the hands on the floor in front of you, walk the hands forward, keep your chest lifted up, keep looking straight ahead, and then at the very last minute, you release the forehead to the floor. Adho Mukha Virasana, downward facing hero. Keep breathing. Use your breath to relax your ribs back, lengthen your waist evenly. When you exhale, you could even do an audible just to relax the groins, the belly. Good. Now go ahead and come up into your hands and knees. Shift to the side and sit upright. Now from here, we're going to go into an easy seated sequence. If it's uncomfortable for you to sit upright, I suggest that you sit with your back against the wall or a couch or something that you can support your back. So I will show. I have my wall here, so I'm able to sit back, have my wall supporting my spine as I sit with my legs extended forward. If this is too much, you can have a little bit, you can sit in an easy cross-legged position. I will show as if I have a couch with this chair. Okay, so we're going to pretend like this is the front part of the couch, this is the back, and you're going to go to your couch and you're going to sit with your back into the couch. It usually will land right around the shoulder blade, maybe a little bit lower. And from here, your spine is supported by your couch. You can extend your legs forward. Make sure that it's nice and snug. So I'm going to hold on to the chair to help me lift my chest forward and back. That actually feels really good. Okay, now from here, you're going to open your feet out wide like you did in that standing pose, in that forward extension, but now you're in a seated angle of it. With your toes pointing up towards the ceiling, relax your calves. Let the calves stretch into the heels. Press the thighs down into the floor. If you don't need a support at all, okay, let me push that out of the way then. Okay, if you don't need a support at all, this is weird. You're going to take your hands behind you to support your spine as you press the inner heels away, as you press the outer knees down into the floor, and as you lift your chest slightly forward and up. Now, it's not a lift of the ribs. Don't throw the ribs forward. Keep the ribs in. Keep the waist long. Be here for a couple more breaths. And now you're going to take the inside of the knees. You're going to pull the knees together, and you're going to take the bottoms of the feet together into a butterfly position with the knees. Again, you have your back on the wall, your back supported by a couch, or your back supported by your hands. Your spine is long, and then you relax the knees. Then you gently press the outside of the knees down into the floor. Lengthen your waist. Lift the ribs off of the pelvis. And breathe. Now my students know I have like crazy long arms and a little tiny torso. So if your hands don't reach like mine, we can put blocks, we can grab a bolster. Deep breaths. We all have special bodies. Now switch, stretch the legs out into that Prasarita, Upavishta Konasana. Wide legs, legs are straight. Press the thighs down into the floor. Press the outer edges of the knees down into the floor. Stretch the calves, the heels away. Lift the abdomen. Don't let the abdomen spill out. Let's do one more. Taking the knees in. Bottoms of the feet together. Now from here, you can be upright with your back on the wall, back on the couch, hands supporting your spine, and make sure you push those knees down. Let's have everyone touch the thighs down to the floor. Everyone can do it. The outside of the thighs push downwards into the floor. You got this. I believe in you. Now from here, you're going to take the outside of your knees, bring the knees in towards each other. And now let's get ready for Shavasana, final resting pose. You're going to lie down. Let's have the knees bent for a little while the back releases. Now, I'd like for you to take your shoulder blades underneath you, meaning take the right shoulder blade in towards your spine, and your palm is facing up towards the ceiling. Let's do that with the other side. Take the left shoulder blade in towards the spine, and then relax. Don't squeeze the shoulder blades too much. Now that you've placed them, just let everything go. Then stretch the right leg out, press the heel into the floor. Stretch the left leg out, press the heel into the floor. And observe your breath. Observe how the breath shifts and changes. Don't control the breath. Just observe. Observe. Can you breathe a little tiny bit deeper now? Make sure your eyes are closed as we prepare your body for final resting pose for Shavasana. You're lying down flat, face up. Your palms are facing up towards the ceiling. Your throat is relaxed. And keep breathing. Breathing into your spine. Relax your feet, your ankles, your shins, your calves. Relax the knees, the back of the thighs, the front of the thighs, the hips. Relax the shoulders, the top of the shoulders, the upper back, the arms where they connect to the shoulders. Let that go. Relax your jaw, your face, your eyeballs. Lift your chin slightly away from your chest, making sure your throat is open, not squeezy. Keep breathing and relaxing the back of the body onto the floor. We're going to practice 4-part breathing for 2 breaths. Exhale all of the breath out. Now close your mouth, and in through your nose, you're going to inhale between 4 to 6 counts. Do what you can. Then you're going to hold that breath for the same length, whatever you just inhaled for. Now you're going to exhale for the same number of counts. Exhale everything out. Then you're going to hold your breath at the bottom of the exhalation, at the end of the exhalation, for the same count. It's called 4-part breathing. Okay, go ahead and release the breath. Just breathe regularly. Just a couple more breaths, just regular breathing. And now you're going to inhale for 4 to 6 counts. Hold the same length. Exhale the same length. And hold the same length. Release the breath and just take regular breaths in and out. whichever way you want to breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Relax any tension that has come to the body. Pranayama is a new practice for a lot of us. And you're going to continue to breathe just regularly, inhaling and exhaling. I invite you to stay longer into at least a 10-minute Shavasana. Lying there, relaxed. If you can, set your Google timer, your Alexa timer, and focus on the breath. Don't control the breath anymore. Just be aware of this is the rise of my chest as I inhale. This is the descension of my chest as I exhale. That's all you're doing. If you're choosing to stay in Shavasana longer, enjoying that. If you do need to come up to seated and come out, we will go ahead and complete class. Go ahead and bend your knees if you're completing class now. Roll onto your side. Press up to seated. You're going to be seated into an easy cross-legged position. Take your hands in front of your heart with the intention of closing your practice, of closing your energy system from manipulating, from moving it, from stirring it up, from cleaning into its little crevices. The light in me salutes the light in you. Namaste. Thank you. I will see you next week, Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on YouTube. And if you'd like to join on Zoom, then I can give you direct feedback on your practice as if we were in the classroom together. I am available for private and semi-private classes as well at the studio in Costa Mesa. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.